wanted to talk a little bit about the Cleveland Cavaliers' slow start. As you guys know, the Cleveland Cavaliers have started out 1-3, and a lot of questions going on right now about this team. Man, it has not worked out. You knew something was wrong when they lost to the New York Shits last week. And then they did beat the Bulls, but they barely beat them. I think, like a lot of people say, if Derrick Rose stayed in that game with Taj Gibson, the Bulls would have won that game because Kurt Heinrich was doing his thing in the fourth quarter. They would have been 0-4. But and then they lose in the last two games, which were pretty close. The Utah game and actually they weren't. Actually, that Portland game wasn't close. But that Utah game could have went either way. But they really weren't supposed to struggle that badly against Utah, a team that's going to be on the lower end of the Western Conference. Got a game with a shot from Gordon Hayward. And there's a lot of concern about this team right now that, is it more than just chemistry? Is it coaching? Is it LeBron James? Is it Kyrie, Kevin Love? It's just a lot of concerns there in Cleveland right now. It sort of feels like the Miami Heat, but I thought that Miami Heat team, as terrible as they were starting out on 8-4, it feels like this is a little bit worse because they aren't even halfway to where Miami was during that first month of the season. Um, the thing about it is people need to start acting like idiots. It was going to take some time for this thing to kind of get better. I do feel like Kyrie, Deion Waiters, Kevin Love, all these guys are going to get better as the year goes along. They're going, Cleveland's going to be a really good team in the second half of the season. But the problem is right now they just got to figure out a few things. Um, but it's concerning. It is concerning that they started out this bad. We'll have to see how these next few games go. See if there's any improvements made. Right now, I just think that the chemistry is a little bit fucked up, and it needs to get a little bit straightened out. But like I said, for the most part, let's see what happens because it's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad run right now for Cleveland, man. They're 1-3. Pretty good news for the Bulls. They got D Rose back, and they're now 4-1. Paul Gasol playing really well. That bench is upgraded, looking really deep. Bulls got a chance to really be a good team this year, man. Watch out for them and the Toronto Raptors too. The Toronto Raptors are a team that constantly gets put out of the conversation for whatever reason. I think they made huge steps defensively. They're going to be a top three team in my opinion. Possibly top four if they don't make it in the top three. They're going to be up there in the top four, man. They're going to give the Bulls and Cavaliers all they can handle. So don't sleep on the Toronto Raptors, man. That team is slowly coming along. I feel like every player on that team has gotten better from the year before already. That was a huge game. That was a huge win on the road against Boston yesterday. I know Boston isn't really a good team right now, but it's still very tough to win up there in Boston sometimes, man. Especially when Rondo is still on the court, and they were able to get it done. So Cleveland, man, if y'all expected to be the top seed or number two or number three, man, y'all better step y'all game up pretty soon, man, because y'all don't want to get uh, too low into the ground. But the good thing you're in the Eastern Conference where you don't have too much to worry about, I mean, so I did want to address the whole Kyrie thing because he didn't have any assists, but he had 34 points. And as a point guard, that is pretty bad. But I thought some of the ripping on Kyrie was not acceptable because I felt like LeBron was kind of getting away with some of the mistakes he made, and the blame getting put on Kyrie wasn't really right. Now Kyrie is probably going to be Cleveland's biggest uh, determination of where that team goes this year. I said that before. It's going to be Kyrie to the end, man. It's going to be all about what Kyrie does because he's the point guard, and he's got to be the one. But the thing about Kyrie that I do like, he's willing to learn though. He still hasn't really adjusted his play around in a LeBron system, and that's why you see them struggling so bad. He just needs to learn how to play off of LeBron, because it's different. Um, he's always been like the man, in the situations he's been in. He's always been like the man. Um, And so I've always stated that I've always thought that Kyrie, um, because of his willingness to learn, I've always thought that Kyrie, in a big way, was someone who can upgrade his game and change it, and he'll do good. You know what I mean? Kevin Love, he'll have to adjust as well. You gotta remember, Cleveland had they got a lot of players that played that like one on one ball. A lot of like Kobe types that really don't feed into too much into the team concept. You know what I mean? And so that's what Cleveland. It's a culture change with Cleveland, man. They're gonna have to do a culture change. It starts with LeBron. He's gonna have to get these guys to, he's gonna have to get these guys to feed in into what he's trying to teach them, which is more team ball, more team play, and he'll eventually get them going, man. So I'm not too worried about that. If you're a little bit worried about that thing with Cleveland, man, don't be worried right now. Unless it gets to December and this team is under 500 or they're around 500 and they're not really still looking too good, then you could probably be a little bit concerned. But for right now, don't be too concerned. And while I'm talking about the NBA, let me talk about the Lakers because they're 0-5. This is one of my favorite teams in the league. And the thing about it is, when you're a Lakers fan that's not from LA, man, and you used to hate them when you started watching the NBA, and then you become a fan of them. Because like I became a fan of the Lakers soon, like around the time when Shaq left, and it was just Kobe. I just really started respecting Kobe's play. I used to hate Kobe, man. I used to was like, man, this dude, I hate this dude. But I started respecting Kobe because I was like, man, this dude is retarded, man. Especially when he got the 81 points. I was like, man, this dude is sick, man. And I just like watching great players like that and appreciating them. And I felt like Kobe is the last breed of those tough guys from the 90s, those tough 80s and 90s basketball players, physical players and shit like that. He's one of the last breeds, that competitive mentality, man. And so to see him with this Lakers team that's not doing shit right now, it really hurts because we all know that he's trying to get that sixth title to match Jordan. But at the same time, I actually think it's something beneficial to him because the reason why I say that is because I really feel like, for the most part, he's like in that mentor role. He's kind of like in that mentor role where he's kind of like mentoring the younger players and shit like that, and he's mentoring the young guys or whatever, and so it just sort of feels like that, and like I stated before, man, um, it's I feel like if he can see Kobe is going to be tested this season, man, and he looks healthy, man. Like he looks like he looks healthy, man. He looks really good out there, man. It looks like he's not going to suffer another injury or whatever. He looks really good. Looks really good out there, man. Um, and like I said, he looks like he's someone who's getting comfortable in this role. Um, it's just looking really good right now for that whole situation, and like I said, it's I think that with the Lakers, it's going to take 2 to 3 years because they're going to have to start stockpiling draft picks. It was a huge blow to them that they lost Julius Randle because I think this team could have benefited from having him on the team, obviously, and not having him there is going to really be a detriment. I think Jeremy Lin getting the most thing that I was happy about with Jeremy Lin going to the Los Angeles Lakers because a lot of people aren't high on Jeremy Lin, but I am. I've always felt like he was a guy that needs to be the starting point guard because he lost his job in Houston to Patrick Beverly. I'm so glad he's away from Houston right now. I'm so glad he's away from that fucking team. I can't stand Houston anyways. I hate it at their 4-1 or 4-0 whatever right now. Glad Chandler Parsons left their ass too. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, this team right now is, they're gonna have to top out draft picks. I think Jeremy Lin, the more experience he gets, especially playing, because Kobe is going to make Jeremy Lin tough. He's going to give him some tough love on that court and make sure that this guy is playing a lot better than he is. Because I see a lot of times like Kobe's even spoken up like Lin needs to be more aggressive. And I remember watching the Phoenix game. There was a number of times where Kobe gave that dude the eye, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" That's going to make Jeremy Lin a lot better. Kind of having someone to check him every time, make sure he's on his P's and Q's. He's just not playing freely out there. He needs to get a little better on his jump shot too because he's been bricking a lot this season. You know what I'm saying? So this season for the Lakers, let's just get everyone compounded in, and then, like I said, stockpile these draft picks because I think the next 2 years are going to be very important for the Lakers in the draft. They're going to have to get, because I'm not sure what type of free agents they're going to be able to get there, but they're going to have to get, some, stockpile some draft picks. So. We'll see. I really think that this is a situation, like I said, that could be looked upon as, very, very, very strange situation. But at the same time. It's just some things are going to have to be, equilibrated to the situation. So, like I said, if you're a Laker fan, don't panic. You're gonna have a rough season. I don't expect this team to win probably more than 20 games. It'll probably be about a 10 to 20 win team. They're going to be at the top of the draft, the lottery. It's just going to be bad. It's going to test Kobe patience. That's the only thing you're going to get out of this year is that hopefully Kobe is patient enough to accept what's going on and then re-signs back with his team next year and try to continue to develop. Byron Scott and Kobe work together, get this team developed so the Lakers can get back to their winning ways then love to see the Lakers have like a really good young team that's molded together that Kobe started, and then you got a team that can win for a number of years, sort of like the way San Antonio did it with Tim Duncan when he came into the league. They've been on the road for the last almost 20 years and 15, 20 years. So, the Lakers need to go in that direction instead of always just picking up the big free agents or whatever. And they really, a lot of people don't understand, like, they really don't have a huge history of picking up big free agents. I mean, they got Shaq, Gary Payton, and Karl Malone, but Gary Payton and Karl Malone were like way past their prime. Gasol in the trade. They really don't usually get free agents like that. It's usually more homegrown or traded talent. That's usually how they get their players. They even got Kobe that way in the fucking trade. So, that's the thing about that. But I'm going to wrap this up, and thank you guys for listening in. And like I said, if you're a Lakers or Cavs fan, don't be too worried right now. Things will get better. But the huge thing that I want to make a big deal out of, watch out for those Bulls because they're looking really good. Also, watch out for the Toronto Raptors. That's a team that you really need to watch out for is the Toronto Raptors because that team is looking really good. And also, just thought about it, Jason Kidd with Jabari Parker and Milwaukee Bucks, team to watch out for. That team is looking nice. I know they're 2-3, but they've looked nice every game so far that I've seen them in. Jason Kidd, I got to give this dude some credit. I didn't give him too much credit in Brooklyn last year. But the things that he's doing, this could be a potential playoff team there in Milwaukee, man. That's a surprise team in the league, man. They're not looking too bad. They're winning a lot of games that they usually will lose. Brandon Knight has upped this play. They're looking pretty good. I think the whole Jabari Parker and Jason Kidd kind of changing the culture type thing is turning Milwaukee into a winner again, man. That's a very fun team to watch, man. So watch out for the Milwaukee Bucks guys, and like I said, have a good day, guys. Peace. I'm going to try to do some more NBA videos in the future if this does well.